Welcome to Garden Crossings. I'm Heidi and this is Rod, and we're out in the greenhouse today. And today we are dealing with some tissue culture plants, grade 3, stage 3 tissue culture plants. And these are the sombrero coneflowers or echinacea. So Rod, tell us a little bit more about the stage 3 tissue culture.
This is the first time we at Garden Crossings is working with stage 3 tissue culture. But if you kind of what these plants start out, they start out in the lab. These actually came from India, and they really don't have very many roots on them. This one doesn't. My goal at stage 3, when they come in, they would have a little bit of roots. You can see right at the end, that's called calycine. That's right before it actually creates the roots. But what we're trying to do, here's a little bit better example. Here is they're grown in this agar solution, which is basically plant material / nutrients for the plant. But there's 3 stages of tissue culture. There's 4 stages. This is number 3. First of all, is like in a, I want to think it's in a test tube with just a small part of the crown of the plant. Once it starts growing or starts producing, it becomes stage 2. This is stage 3 when you got some roots, and stage 4 is actually when you've actually rooted out when we finish the plug that they're planting it into. And we thought we'd try these. Just I always need another challenge, guys. So this, like I said, I've never done this before, and we're putting them in a 50 cell plug tray. And we usually don't deal with our own plug trays, but we're going to do this, and then we're going to bump them up to our quarts. So by this, if it's successful, by this fall, the summer, they're going to be potted up into our quarts, and you could have them in your yards by later on this summer, early fall. So if we kind of come over here, take a look at, you can see what they're doing here is they're trying to do their best on planting. It's a very tedious process, but I can guarantee you it's not as tedious as stage 1 and stage 2 when they're in a lab with all their white suits on and masks and keeping everything so clean. This is probably the first time these plants have seen natural sunlight. And so we're learning from this process. We have to keep them in more of a shady area and a humid area. So we may have success with it, we may not, but it's a trial that we're taking to see if we can move forward to doing this with maybe some other plants. So Lynn, even if you kind of if we come around and look over here, you can see the one Rhonda's doing is a lot smaller yet. So there's the consistency here is not exactly the way I would like to see, but that's what I got, and I'm going to see how we do with them. So that's kind of the stage 3. I mean, it's a learning curve for us.
Right. I mean, it'll be neat to see. I mean, something that you haven't done before, and it's always fun to just, like you said, trial and error things, and who knows? I mean, maybe this will be a way we can do planting in the future. What is the benefit of doing it this way, though, Rod? Your initial input is a little less, right?
The initial input's less, but you got to take. I'm going to have to look at what the cost savings was here versus them taking the time to the labor and sticking them. Yeah, because
that's a lot of labor for not that many plants.
It is.
And heat.
And you got the heat, you got the growing on, but in some cases, some of this stuff isn't readily available, and if we can get some of this stuff earlier, as it becomes a new plant, becomes into the tissue culture labs, and we can get it early on, maybe we can bring finished plants to market quicker.
Right. And does this also help us control quality even more, because we're starting at such a younger plant that we're really seeing quality from a young stage to a finished stage, or not necessarily?
It depends how good a grower we are.
Well, but it's not only how good a grower you are. I mean, you obviously know you're going to have some failure with this because they are just infant. Like when people plant seeds, you don't get 100% stand on seeds. And I can't imagine we're going to get 100% stand on this neither.
Right.
But I don't know. It'll be fun to watch them
It
go
is.
from such a small stage, though, to a finished stage.
So a lot of what you see them planting is basically what we're buying in as finished plants. And I'm
A
sure
filled out plug.
correct. I'm sure in some of other videos you've done, you've seen finished off plugs,
Right, yeah.
and that's what we usually start from. So this is kind of a fun process to try and see if we can do it. We do the same things with our mum cuttings,
Right.
and we've done very, very well with that. So
Is there a reason why you chose coneflower for this particular test over other varieties? Or is it because we just carry so many coneflower varieties?
it's because we carry so many coneflower varieties, and I have had a difficult time getting my hands on sombreros. Ball's version of the Echinacea, Ball series of the Echinacea, I should
Yeah.
say. And these were available, and I'm like, well, let's try it. It's good to pot up in the summer and ship in the fall or even next spring.
Right.
So we're just gonna see if the product becomes more readily available when I need it. Maybe I'll find out I don't want to deal with this.
Right. Right.
But you know, as new products come to market, and people are building up their stock, if we have a way to get it out there sooner, I mean, we know how to do the Stage 3 TC, or we know how to root cuttings, that type
Right.
of thing. It's not only maybe cutting our costs, but it's allowing us to get out to the market sooner with newer plants.
That makes sense. So always learning something new, doing something different. Pretty much if you're not doing something new, you're not doing nothing, right? I don't know. You always need something. You always need a project to be working on. You're always pushing your own abilities.
That's
So
right.
we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Anybody can grow an annual, anybody can grow perennial, right?
I would think so. So I guess
Maybe we'll see if I can grow
we
a
can see
Stage
if
3
any-
TC.
Right. Hopefully you found this interesting, learning a little bit about this tissue culture, and yeah, we'll keep you updated on how it's growing, how it's doing. We'll be what do you anticipate time-wise for those to fill out that plug?
I'm guessing it's going to be 6-8 weeks.
Okay.
And I'm not scared to show, hey, down the road, Rod didn't do very well at this one.
Yeah. So we'll
But-
be sure to fill you in about 6 or 8 weeks on the process of how these are doing. If it went well, if it didn't go well, hey, it's all in trial and error.
Before
and
we
learning new
end,
things.
though, let's
Yeah.
take a quick walk over here.
All right.
And you can see, if going down into by these plants, you can see how they're already kind of struggling. They're already starting to wilt, which is okay. We have them in a shaded area out of direct sunlight. I say it will be okay. Will it be? I've seen cuttings do this, and they come back in a couple days and they look great. But this is all kind
How
of the
often are you watering these?
We're gonna have to try to keep them moist. I would say 4 or 5 times a day, real quick, water over.
Set a little mister sprinkler to hit the area on a timer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll keep you updated on how these are doing. 6 or 8 weeks, we'll give you updates and let you know the success of this trial. Hope you found this enjoyable. This is Rod and Heidi from Garden Crossings.